So what I did was I took that year and I said, okay, I'm gonna try a couple pieces of it because I don't want to try and do too much and end up not being able to keep the ship afloat. So I put in a friends and family board, I put in wish well, and I put in greeting, and we rolled with those for that year. And the friends and family board was probably the biggest hit in the room because whenever certain kids would begin to have issues, I could tap them on the back and say, hey, why don't you take a trip back to the friends and family board? Begin what I would use that as I would use it as motivation because with my kids being a little bit older, I would kind of say to them, hey, that's your why. You're in the picture with mom and dad there, that's your why.
Yeah.
And so that was the way that I was able to convince a lot of the kids to stay on target or come back kind of when they're in the weeds, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
Bring them back onto the path and be able to finish or continue whatever we were doing.
What is something that, like, you have a story of some kid that it just spoke to you and your relationship with that child and you saw a turnaround? Do you have a kid that kind of pops in your head about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a young gentleman who I had him in fifth grade, and I put a ton of time into him, and I put a lot of time into all of my kids, but I remember with this one specifically, his life story, without going into too much detail, mom did time and is out now, and dad is not around. So basically he was raised by grandmother along with his brother and his cousin. Grandmother was doing the best that she could, and she asked for help. And one of the things that I consistently hammered home with him was, and he was able to bring me a friends and family picture. So I put the picture up there and I said, hey, T, this is your why. This is your why we do this every day. So whenever you need help, just come to me, or you can take a trip back to the board. I said, let's breathe. So, and obviously we did all the other skills and things
Right.
too
Yes.
that we need that are a key part of consciousness. But with him, it was the breathing, and it was just taking a moment to gather himself. He struggled academically, so there would be times when we'd be doing activities and I could see him getting worked up. I could see him getting frustrated. I could see him begin to kind of go there, and I could just kind of make eye contact with him. It would be very quietly, and we have the breathing techniques. So I may very quietly, while other kids weren't looking, just kind of do this with him, or I may kind of do this, and it began to work over the course of the year. So he would not blow up. He would not explode. He would literally look at me, and he's now a seventh grader. And now I've reconnected with him because now I'm in this different position. And he stopped me in the hallway and told me a story a few weeks ago about how he was almost in a confrontation with another student, and something told him to take a step back and just breathe.
Oh,
So
good
when he
for
told
him.
me that, I said, okay, wow.
Yeah.
It was worth it. I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad, T. I'm really happy.
That's exciting.